Right, everybody. This is a backstory today. I've been putting this off and putting it off for a couple of weeks now because I wasn't quite sure. I was going to do the review first, but you know what? I wasn't quite sure how to review this watch because I don't really understand it, and I didn't really know whether I liked it enough. So I didn't really know if I liked it enough. I didn't really understand it. I don't really know what it is, and I hadn't had any time with it. So today I'm going to do the backstory first. Right, so about 3 weeks ago now, I went shopping in Nottingham Town Centre. Now I've done a few videos on this before, and I've always been mad on, and I know I always go on about it. I've always been mad on the Tag Monaco, but I've never been able to actually part with the money to buy one. It's just one of them where I love it. I absolutely love it, but I don't love it enough to part with the money to buy it. So we was in Nottingham Town Centre doing some shopping, and there's a Tag Heuer boutique, which is in the town centre, and I went in just for a nose really, and I had a chat with a lad, and I said, look, you know what, come look at the Monacos. So I look at the Monacos, and again, it's the blue face one. It just looks so good, but it's just, I can't believe how much they were. They're up to like £5,800 now, something like that. And I just thought, you know what, I can't justify that sort of money. So and I just put it out of my mind. But they're always sort of there or thereabouts. They're always in my head. Tag Monaco, Tag Monaco. And I'm always looking at them on the internet. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to get one. So I had a look around and went on Chrono 24 and all the usual places. And I found one that was about, I'm going to say it was from mine to there, probably 40 miles, something like that, at a used dealer's. So I thought, oh, you know what? So I went and had a look, and I think it was about 10 years old, the watch was, but it was nice. So I tried it on, blah, 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 blah. And I'd rang the guy beforehand. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd rang him up beforehand to make sure it was there so I don't waste the trip. Went and had a look, tried it on. The strap was a little bit worn, but not major. And I must admit, I'm not a fan of used leather straps. But I thought, you know what, it's nothing that you can't put right. So I tried it on, and anyway, but liked it. Said to the bloke, look, you know, we spoke on the phone, blah 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 blah. And the deal, he said, yeah, you know what, £3,000 buys it. And I thought, you know what, in the grand scheme of things, I know £3,000's £3,000, but I just thought, you know what, it's one of them where, yeah, £3,000, I can part with £3,000, but £6,000, no, for a new one. So anyway, so tried it on, having a nice chat with the bloke, and the woman was all right. Actually, I talked to the woman first, and then talked to the bloke, and I said, yeah, you know what. Anyway, so I put it on, and I just had a quick look round while it was on. I'd put my watch on the desk, and it had some cabinets there, you know, with usual rings and chains and this that, and the other. But he got some watches, and they've got Rolex on the top row. And I saw on the top row, obviously this watch you can see now, which is like a SERTI Submariner. So, but there were no prices. Well, I couldn't see the price. There was a price, but I couldn't see it, and because the watch had been sort of placed on top of the plastic thing. So anyway, so I said, well, can I have a look at that? So he got it out, really nice, blah 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 blah, and I thought, you know what, I've looked at these in the past. I've seen them on the internet and on YouTube videos and all this sort of stuff, but I've never actually seen one in the flesh. You know, I've had the normal steel sub and the bluesies and all the rest of it. Well, you know, if you've seen any of my videos before, you know I'm a big fan of the bluesy, but I'm also a big fan of the pre-ceramics. I like the size more, and I like the proportions more. So I thought, well, you know what, I really like that. So we got it out of the cabinet. I thought, you know what, I really, really like that. So now I've gone from going to spend £3,000 on a tag to spending 4 times that on one of these SERTI subs. So I thought, oh, you know what, you know, I've not got that much sort of money knocking around at the minute, and this, that, and the other. So I spoke to him, and he said, well, you know, have you got a part exchange? So I said, well, I've got a few. I told him, I didn't tell him everything that I've got, but I said, I've got a few that I wouldn't mind getting rid of. So he asked me what I got, and I told him, blah, 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 blah. So I said, well, look, before we start, is there any movement on the price on the SERTI sub? And he said, to be honest with you, mate, I've already dropped it. It was X amount, and now it's Y amount. So he said, I've already dropped it. I don't want to drop any more. And I understand where it's coming from, and I guess he has dropped it a little bit. With the way things are at the minute, nobody seems to know where they're going to end up. But I'm not one of them. I'm not a panicker, and I'm not a crash theorist and a conspiracy theorist and all the rest. So I'm not going to go on about that. But I will. I'm going to cover the market in another video. So so I tried it on, and you know what? And I thought, I like that. So, but there was no movement in the price and this, that, and the other. And I said, you know what, mate? I said, I've travelled a bit here to get the tag, but I'm really taken by this. So he said, well, look, I told him what watch well, not all the watches I got, but I told him the ones that I wouldn't mind parting with. And he said, you know what, the one we spoke about, one watch in particular, I'm not going to mention it now because it didn't happen. But so he said, look, if you got one of them, I'll give you X amount of money, but I need to see it. So I thought, you know what, fair enough. So I said, well, look, I've been here a while. I left it. I said, look, here's the $3,000 that I was going to spend on the watch. Keep that here because I don't want to walk around the town with it and this, that, and the other. And I says, and then I'll come back. I said, I'll either buy the tag or we'll do a deal on this SERTI sub. So I went and got something to eat, went and got something to drink, and I thought, SERTI sub. But it was a load more money than I wanted to spend, an absolute stack more. So and then so I went back to the bloke and he said, yeah, you know what? I said, look, I'm really taken by that SERTI sub. So and he said, well, I need to get your watch. I need to see your watch. So now it was going to be, so now I've got to go all the way back home, which is 40 miles or thereabouts. Get the key to the safe and then go back into the town centre. Do that. So I rang the bloke up. I said, look, I'm not going to be able to get back today, but I'll sort it for tomorrow. So I came back, went straight to the safe and then went home. And I thought, I've had enough for today because it just dragged out. So, and I said to him, you know what, I'll call you tomorrow. So I went home and I thought about it. So anyway, later on that night, I was going out with some friends for a drink and something to eat. They're not all into watches, but a couple of them that were there said, so one in particular said, did you get that tag Monaco? And I said, you know what, no, I didn't. And he went, you always say you're going to buy one and you never do. And I said, yeah, you know what? I said, but while I was there, I saw this watch. He didn't even know what a SERTI sub was because he's more into his tags and stuff like that. But he knows a Submariner, but didn't know that one. So I've seen this watch. So I said it's turned into a bit of aggro really because I've got to go back tomorrow and I don't know. So I told him all what I've got to do, and he said, well, one of our other friends, like a mutual friend, he's always like them watches that that you're trading in, and why don't you give him a ring and see if he's interested in buying it off you before you trade it in? So I only half know this lad. So he ran the lad up and put me on the phone, and we'd spoke before. And he said, yeah, you know what, I'm interested, but the downside is that I'm going away tomorrow and I'm going for 7 days. But the price he was willing to give me was 800 quid more than the price that the dealer was going to give me, which is fair enough because obviously the dealer's got to make money and blah, 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 blah. But I thought, you know what, if I can sell it to him, I've got 800 quid to come off the deal, which is already a lot more than I wanted to spend. So I said, you know what? I said, well, he goes, then I'll go away with my missus and this and that. So anyway, so he spoke to missus and he said, yeah, I can do it, but I can't do it till I get back from holiday. I don't know how much I'm going to spend. I don't know how much I'm going to need, so I can't. But he said, yeah, put me down for it. So obviously, in the business I've been in for a long time, when you say put my name on it, that's as good as. So anyway, so the following day, I rang the dealer back up and I said, look, you know what? I said, I did tell him the truth. I said, look, I spoke to a friend of mine and he's offered me 800 quid more than you're offering. And he'll try and explain. I said, look, don't need to explain, mate. I understand that it's the best you can give because you've got to sell it on and maybe you've got to polish it and guarantee it. I don't know, whatever you've got to do. So, yeah. So, and he just seemed a little bit off. You know what I mean? So I said, well, look, I'm after the deal now. You weren't willing to knock any money off your watch. And it's not like, you know, we'd agreed a different price because of the part exchange and blah blah blah. I was still paying full price for that watch, full list, the full price he got it advertised for. So, and it just seemed a bit off. It just seemed a bit umpy. So I said, like, you know, have I done something to upset you? And he went, well, no, not really. He said, but I thought we had a deal. And I said, well, yeah, I get you, I understand, but it's going to work out better for you, I think, because I'm going to come and buy your watch at full price out the window. And I don't think he sort of understood what I was on about. And I said, well, look, you didn't knock me any off or do me a special price for the part exchange. I was still going to pay the price which was in the window. And now, you know, I'm not doing the part exchange, but I'm still paying you full price. So, you know, and he just seemed off. So we went sort of backwards and forwards. And I said, well, look, I don't understand. You know, you weren't willing to knock me any money off your watch with or without a part exchange. Okay. But you still want me to sell you my watch, and you, bearing in mind you haven't seen it yet, you might even try and chip me even some more. You know what people are like, oh, you didn't say this, you didn't say that. I said, you haven't seen it. I said, you know, this means now that if I don't do the deal with my mate, if I didn't do that, let's put that to one side. I've got to come back over to your shop tomorrow, which is another 40 miles, probably a bit more. And then you might say, you know, oh, it's not this, or it's not that, or it's got a scratch, or it's got a scuff. I don't know. You know, obviously once they're going to get a loop out, things start to change, don't they? So I said, look, you know, I'm not here to argue. I said, you know, he weren't arguing with me. That's the wrong thing to say, but it just seemed a bit off. And like a couple of times he often puffed down the phone. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this once more. So I said, look, if I do the part exchange, which I wasn't going to do, are you willing to knock any off? And he said, no. I said, if I pay cash, are you willing to knock any off? He said, no. I said, so where are we miles apart here then? And he went, oh, you know what? I'd half mentioned your watch to someone else and blah, blah, blah. And it was going to fill the space. And I said, yeah, I understand that. I said, but look, you weren't willing to knock any off yours. And if I sell you my watch for what you want to pay, then I'm paying you actually an extra 800 quid compared to what my mate was going to pay. So anyway, so he often puffed and you know, I said, right, we'll see you later, blah, 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 blah. I'll come back to you. But I sat at home and it just miffed me a little bit, you know, huffing and puffing. I thought, I'm spending quite, you know, to me, it's a lot of money. I'm spending a lot of my money in your shop. It might not be a lot to him, but it's a lot to me. And so I just thought, you know what, I ain't having this. So I rang him back up and I said, you know what, mate? Oh, no, sorry. In the meantime, I've been looking around at Chrono and this and that, at the SERTI subs. So I rang him back up and I said, you know what, mate? Actually, he wasn't there. He'd gone for dinner or something like that. So I said to his like assistant or whoever it was who worked there, I said, you know what? I was half going to do a deal on this watch. And I said, you know what? Things have put me off. I said, you know, I don't think I was being treated quite right or quite how I expected to be treated. So I said, actually, I'm going to pull out. So, you know, respectfully, I'm going to say, I don't want it. And just send me the £3,000 back, which I'd left as a deposit. So anyway, so he come back from lunch and he rang me and he said, oh, you know, and he was being really nice. I said, you know what, mate, it's nothing to do with that. It's the way that you sort of huffed and puffed and sort of tried to mug me a little bit, like as if I was a mug, and I definitely ain't. I'm definitely not. So he went on and he tried to talk his way out of it. And I said, you know what, mate, I hadn't by this time, but I said, you know what, mate, I'm going to be fair with you. I found one somewhere else. I ain't going to mess around with the part exchange. And the bloke was really nice to me. I've not had any of this huffing and puffing, so that's the end of it. So anyway, so we sort of partied on off, you know, awkward terms, if you like. But he said, yeah, I'll put your money back. And you know what? By the following morning, the money was back in the bank. So anyway, so I'd been on Chrono and I'd seen another one, which was in central London, Bond Street, or one of them streets, wherever it was, through Chrono. So, and I bought off Chrono before when you've gone backwards and forwards and you put an offer in and they come back. You know, if you've used Chrono, you'll understand what I mean. And a few times as well from dealers, I've agreed a price and this, that and the other. And then they've pulled out and just sent your money back. Because obviously they said, and I've rang a few of them up sometimes and said, listen, I was buying this watch. I paid you the money. And they go, oh, when I sold it elsewhere. And so anyway, so I've had really good experience with Chrono, but I have been messed around by one person in particular. I'm not going to name them, but one person in particular, or one company in particular. So I rang this chap up in London. I said, look, you know what? I was going to buy this SERTI sub. XYZ. It didn't quite happen, and I was going to pay X amount for it. Yours is a little bit more, you know, it is a little bit more money, but it was the one he got. It was like, I think it was, I'm not entirely sure what year the one was what I was buying, but the one I've got there, what you can see now, is the papers are dated 2006. So I just said to him, you know, I'm interested in buying it, blah 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 blah. I was going to pay X amount. Can you match it? And he went, you know what, we're not a million miles apart. So we agreed X amount, and he said, yeah, you know what, I can do it for that. So I explained to him, and I said, you know what, I'm just waiting on some money to come, but I've got some of it, but I explained I'm selling one, blah blah blah. He said, yeah, that's all right, that's fine. So by this time, the lad who was going to buy it, he texted me from holiday and said, yeah, you know what, I'm definitely want to do it. So anyway, about 4 days later or whatever it was, he came home and we met up. And he said, yeah, you know what, I'll have it. So being as I know him, I just gave him the watch. I said, look, have it now. You know, you've seen it, have it now, and just transfer me the money tomorrow. So yeah, so it sounds. So the following day I said, did you transfer the money? He said, I'm just trying to do it now, but because it's a decent amount of money, I can't get it to go through. So I said, yeah, I know I've had this before. So I said, oh, we'll keep trying. Anyway, within 4 or 5 hours, he transferred me the money. And yeah, so pretty much I ran the bloke up. He said, look, I don't want to do it now. Can we do it tomorrow? Because obviously it was getting on late in the day. So I phoned him the following day, transferred the money, and yeah, the following day after that, the watch came, and yeah, I was really pleased with it. I'm going to do a bit of a review on it, but yeah, it turned up, you know, as he said, really nice condition, full set, inner and outer boxes, and the cushion and the papers and the wallet and all that sort of thing. Even got a green sticker on the back. Really tight bracelet, not been worn overly, because I have had some of these bluesies and stuff which have been well worn in the past, which I've done videos on, and the bracelets are a bit rattly and stuff, but this one's really nice and tight. So that's just the backstory, really. So like I say, you know, I went in to buy a tag, ended up wanting to buy something else. That didn't happen. Then I had to sell one and wait while someone was on holiday. So, but you've got the gist of the story. So that's why the video took so long to do. In between going in the tag shop and this video coming out, it's been a really long time. And you know what? It was quite a bit of aggro, to be honest, and it didn't need to be. It didn't need to be, but that's how it worked out. So yeah, so my mate got a watch. I got the money that I wanted. I paid what I wanted, and I got a watch what I wanted. And yeah, so that's pretty much the backstory. So I'm going to leave it at that for the time being, and I'm going to do a review on the watch then. Just a quick review. You know, I've done bluesies and sort of that sort of stuff in the past, and this is basically a bluesy, but with like a flashy diamond dial. So as always, I'm going to say thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.